fold-over bags were one of the first projects I ever made when I was learning how to sew about 8 years ago, and I love them. They're so wonderful for so many uses, and they're really, really simple to make. So the basic idea is it's a baggie with a fold-over top. So you just unfold the top, you've got your bag, and then you fold the top back over. I use these for everything, and they are a perfect replacement for those little plastic baggies. So you can use them for storing snacks. I use them for crayons so we don't have to waste or use the restaurant ones. You can store little toys in there, or if you have a really small one, you can use it for hairbands and bobby pins. I've made a variety of sizes that we take with us on trips so that we can separate socks and underwear and smaller clothing in our suitcases. Once you start using these, they are so awesome to have around. But one of my favorite uses for these is as fabric gift bags. So I've been trying to get us away from gift wrap for a number of years, and even from those gift bags that are sort of made of that plasticky material, even though those are definitely reusable. Fabric wrap is super rad. It's way less mess. It's so super easy to tidy up. It's very easy to wrap gifts, and it's super compact to store. And it ends up being much more cost effective. I love it. So I'll either grab a little bit at the top and bunch it together with a ribbon, or you could tie a reusable fabric ribbon just around the back, and boom, you're done. We started out just having our own little family stash of these, but over the years I've been trying to expand that, because when I've made cookies for someone or giving a gift to someone, it's really nice just to be able to use one of these bags, and hopefully the recipient can reuse them for someone else. Obviously, it might take a while to get to the point where you have enough to be giving them away as gifts, but it's really nice just to have a stash within your own household to start with. And I definitely think it's worth it that if you are going to sew some of these, just to make a bunch of them at once in all the sizes you can think of. And I timed myself the other day to see how long these would take. And even with doing a French seam, which is totally not necessary, you could just use pinking shears, it took me 4.5 minutes to make one. So if you kind of set aside a block of time, you could get a bunch of these made at once. One of my favorite parts about this project, of course, is the ability to customize. So you can make these with fabrics that your family would appreciate or friends would appreciate. You can make them in a variety of sizes. So we have some itty bitty ones and some really big ones. And it's so fun just to have different sizes on hand, because you never know what you're gonna need them for. But I would say our average size is about like this. I also love, of course, that I can reuse fabrics to make these. So if we have some old sheets that can't be donated, or clothes that we really loved but that have stains on them, we can use parts of those and make these bags. Or sometimes I just have little awkward bits of leftover fabric from other projects. So this is a great, great project for that. The basics of making these are you're just gonna cut out sort of a longish piece of rectangle fabric. I would tell you a size, but it really depends on how big you want your bag. So what I do usually is kind of, while I'm measuring it out, I fold it over on itself to kind of get an idea of what it would look like. So that kind of gives you an idea of how big the bag will be. And because I don't have a serger, I just take the top bit of the long rectangle and I fold it over on itself a couple times and I stitch it down. And then I do the same thing with the other side and just stitch it down. Now, if you aren't doing a French seam, I would use pinking shears along the long sides so you don't get too much fraying, because I do wash these with our laundry. And then you're going to do this weird, it doesn't seem to make sense, but you're gonna fold this over on itself. You're gonna fold down about how big you want the fold over part. And remember, this would be kind of stitched along the edge. And then you bring up the bottom of the fabric, not quite to the top. I would leave a little bit of space there, like that. So you've got this fold underneath and this on top. And you're just gonna stitch along the edges. And you've got your bag. You just turn it right side out and you're good to go. I like to do a French seam. So when I do a French seam, I basically fold the bag how it's going to look first by bringing the bottom side up and the fold up over on top. And then I stitch on both sides. Then I turn it inside out and do the same thing again. That gives me an edge like this inside, which is just a little bit different and a little bit neater than the pinking shears, but totally unnecessary. I've made plenty of these bags without doing a French seam and I love them. There are a lot of tutorials on these kind of, I call them fold over bags. I don't know what other people call them, but I've seen tutorials online and I'll try to link to some if you want a better close-up view of how to make them. But I just thought I'd tell you about them. They are one of my favorite sewing projects. So I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for everything you do. Your actions can and will make a difference.